Yeah, I did it for almost 20 years. So I had an engineer, I had drafter, women, my office manager.
And it was 70%, wasn't it?
There was only 7 of us, or 8 of us, but
Way to go.
I like to use the percentage.
Good morning. We will call to order our MAPS 4 Citizen Advisory Special Meeting for July 13th, 2023. Item 2 is items for individual consideration. Item 2A is approval of minutes from the June 1st, 2023 MAPS meeting. Do we have any changes, corrections? Okay, if not, I'd take a motion and second. There we go. Please cast your votes.
I vote yes, I'm not in yet.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
I'm having lots of problems.
Okay, the motion passes. Thank you. So moving on to item 2B, receive the MAPS 4 monthly financial report ending May 31st, 2023. Mr. Todd.
Pardon me, thank you, Madam Chair. On the revenue side for the month, $12,484,676. Fiscal year, $134,948,182, and total of $396,100,802. On the expenditure side for the month, $11,326,336. Fiscal year, $55,529,048, and a total of $156,771,214. I will try to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions of Mr. Todd? No? If not, I would take a motion in a second to receive the report. Oh, we've got it. Now vote, please. That's okay. Oh, yeah. Gotcha. It does take a little bit to get used to. We only do it once a month, so. Did it take her vote? There we go, okay. Motion passes, thank you. Moving on to item 2C, recommend approval of resolution extending time to award contract for the MAPS 4 Park Enhancement Public Space Transformation River Boulevard Project. Mr. Todd.
Remember that this is the bridge over the river down near Eastern Avenue. You saw presentations on it before, and we're advancing this steel piece because of just lead times. I won't say supply chain, but lead times on fabricating what's roughly 1,200 feet of steel beams, so 3 beams at 400 feet or so. So the idea is to get that steel beam into fabrication so that it is delivered at the time when we start the actual construction of the bridge. And the bids came in about $300,000 less than what we'd budgeted.
Great, okay. Any questions? Okay, if not, I take a motion in a second. Please cast your votes. Okay, motion passes, thank you. Moving on to item 2D, recommend receipt of Consultant Review Committee report and authorize negotiation of an engineering services contract with Traffic Engineering Consultants, Inc. for the MAPS 4 Enhanced Bus Service.
This is a process that I believe all of you, except Ms. Banks, has been part of as far as consultant selection. This is one project that only one consultant submitted, and rather than just accept them and hire them. We did go ahead and interview. 2 people from that subcommittee were included along with city staff in its usual way and found them to be sufficient and qualified.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, no. If not, I'd take a motion in a second. Please cast your votes. Motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to item 2E, recommend receipt of consultant review committee report and authorize negotiation of an engineering services contract with Kimley Horn and Associates, Inc. for the MAPS 4 Transit Planned Growth Long Range Plan.
Likewise, same process. This is authorization to negotiate a contract. Kimley Horn was the only consultant to submit, but again, we interviewed them and found them qualified and sufficient to do the work. This is for some additional planning that Embark needs. It includes a lot of route things. It's pretty in-depth as far as the actual operations of Embark.
Okay.
But comes with the approval from the subcommittee.
Okay, any questions? Okay, if not, I'd take a motion in a second to approve. Cast your votes, please. Motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to item 2F, recommend approval of change order number 3, MAPS 4 Downtown Arena Phase 1B seating replacement with an increase of $5,838.70.
Remember that we are doing a complete replacement of the seats at Paycom Center. The lower bowl is complete with the exception of the retractable seating, which is the very inside piece. That's probably about 40% complete right now. The upper bowl is about 80% complete, somewhere in that area. So one of the things that we found is that because the seats extend higher, the backs of the seats, they were conflicting with some rails. So in order to fix that conflict, the seats have to be moved out, and we just use what we call shim plates. So it's a spacer that goes between the seat structure and the wall to move that seat out so that it doesn't conflict. $5,838.
Okay, questions? If not, I'd take a motion in a second to approve. Okay, please cast your votes. Motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to item 2G, recommend approval of change order number 5 for the MAPS 4 Fairgrounds Coliseum for a decrease of $57,996.
I can tell you that yeah, we try real hard. Staff worked really hard on this one and continue to try and get the value engineering items. But I can tell you that the Coliseum is going very well. If you were to go out there, you'd see columns up in the air now, and they've started pouring the slab. There's plumbing in the ground. So if it would stop raining, it would go really good, but it is going good. So there's several items on here, and as I said, staff continues to try and value engineer some of these things out of the project, find savings where we can. There's some miscellaneous things on here that I would call routine, additional electrical circuits, sanitary sewer, fire extinguisher cabinets, as many as there are in that. Some of them get overlooked. But the railing credit of $87,000, there was a rail that was specified that after looking at it, decided that it's not needed for code. It was really an aesthetic thing, and working with the fairgrounds staff, they decided it really wasn't needed, and it was a place where we could save some money. Also, the variable frequency drives on the mechanical piece was another $30,000 save. So anyway, you can see a few more items on here, but ultimately it is a decrease of almost $58,000.
Congratulations and thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions? Okay, if not, take a motion in a second. Please cast your votes.
Again, I just want to thank staff, the
Yes.
guys and ladies that are working on this are really working hard.
Thank you very much. We and the taxpayers very much appreciate your extra effort. So the motion passes. Moving on to item 2H, recommend approval of architectural services contract with Populous Inc. for the MAPS 4 multipurpose stadium fee of $2,339,801.
So this went through the usual process that we've already discussed today, the interviews and then negotiation on the contract. I want to make clear that this is not for the complete architectural services of the facility. There's things that have to happen up front. We have to analyze a site, and then one of the things that we're going to do is figure out the phasing of this. So ultimately, we might have a multi-purpose stadium that's worth $100 million, but we only have about 30. So we're going to do phase 1, 2, and 3 in the plan so that we can build the $30 million stadium. If funds become available, then we can build, for instance, $70 million, adding on to that, not wasting anything, but having all that we need when we initially open to operate as the multipurpose stadium, and then ultimately the build out for the whole thing. So this is for that planning process of programming, phasing, and site selection. Now remind you that we don't have the funds for the site. The operator is working with us to provide that site. Once he suggests a site, we will analyze that to make sure that it works, that it's not prohibitive as far as utilities or location or something like that. So this is just a piece of that project, but I am glad that we are getting started on this and get it moving.
Yes, agreed. So, questions? Okay, take a motion and a second to approve. Please cast your votes. Motion passes, thank you. Moving on to item 2I, recommend approval of amendment number 1 to engineering services contract with Kimley Horn and Associates for MAPS 4 Neighborhood Connectivity Master Plan and Phase 1 with an increase of $55,948.53.
So this is a project for the connectivity in the Innovation District. Kimley Horn had identified corridors that were basically their priority A, and then they have a priority B, only because of timing, not for funding. They're all funded. But what we found as we proceeded with this is that 4th Street from Lincoln over to Lottie, right in that area, ML King, is under development right now. And a lot of it's vacant, but what we're finding out is there's development happening through the Alliance and through some other property owners that's imminent. And we didn't want to go in and build put in trees, put in sidewalks, only to have it run over by construction trucks and things. So what we've done is we've shifted that focus from 4th Street up to 8th Street. And since Kimley Horn had started on 4th Street, they've expended some of their fee on that. Now we need to move this up. As we discussed in the subcommittee meeting, this is still part of the overall fee structure that we have in there. It's additional to this contract, but it's still within the overall fee of the project.
Right. Any questions?
So this comes with the approval from the subcommittee.
Right. Any questions? No? Okay. Take a motion and a second to approve. Please cast your votes. The motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to item 2J, recommend approval of amendment number 3 to contract for professional consulting services with ADG PC for the MAPS 4 program of an increase of $1,562,223.47, retroactive to July 1, 2023 through June 30, 2024.
Right, so this is our annual renewal with ADG. Remember, they're our program consultant. ADG provides a multitude of things for our office in this program. help in oversight and planning, and project managers that work in conjunction with our project managers, helps with budgeting. And probably one of the biggest things that's coming up right now is plan checking. So when we get plans in for these projects, they send them out to specialty consultants, to other engineers, to have them review them and make sure that we're not missing anything. Look and see if there's opportunities for changes and those kind of things. So they are integral to our office.
Yes, they have been very helpful. Any questions? Okay, if not, I'd take a motion in a second to approve. Please cast your votes. The motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to item 2K, recommend approval of amendment number 2 to professional services agreement with Gooden Group, Inc., MAPS 4 Program Public Relations Media Consultant, with an increase of $228,000, retroactive to July 1, 2023 through June 30, 2024.
Likewise, Gooden Group, it consults with us on PR. I don't know what we'd do without Katie and her crew. Some of the outreach all of the outreach that we've had recently with parks and BRT and some of the other projects that, quite frankly, we've gotten a lot of good compliments about.
Yep.
Katie's been leading that effort. The consultants are doing it, but Katie's making sure they're doing it in the right way, in the right places. She helps me with press releases and hopefully real soon with groundbreakings.
Yep.
And those kind of things, planning all that, and the Gooden Group does a fantastic job.
Thank you, Katie, for all your work. Please tell your team as well. Any questions? Okay, if not, I'd take a motion in a second to approve. Please cast your votes. Motion passes. Thank you. Excuse me. Moving on to item 3, discussion items. Mr. Todd?
Don't have anything.
Okay. Item 4, Citizens Advisory Board Subcommittee reports. Do we have any? No reports? Okay. Oh, whoop.
I'm going to put Katie on the spot, though. Katie, remind me of when the next feedback session is for, we have so many going on. The one next Friday at the parks, Washington Park.
Yes, we have one tomorrow, actually, for at Capitol Hill Library. This is for BRT, and that will be from 11 to 1. And so that's to solicit feedback about the preliminary alignments for the BRT for the South and Northeast BRTs. And then on July 27th at the new Willie D. Johnson Recreational Center, we're going to be hosting an open public meeting for community members to talk about improvements to Washington Park, Northeast Community Center Park, and Menace Lakeview Park. And that will be from 4 to 6 p.m. at the new Willie Johnson Center. That's the 27th, yes.
Great, thank you. Great question.
And that was my report.
Okay, great. Loved it, loved it. Okay, if there's no other subcommittee reports, item 5, update status of MAPS 4 program. Mr. Todd.
We talked about a lot of the projects. We've got so much in design right now. Palomar, Diversion Hub are going good. Hopefully you'll see those real soon. Preliminary reports. I'm happy with where those are. The Coliseum, as I said, is going great. The other improvements at Paycom, the scoreboard is going in, all the seats, some of the other improvements, starting design on sidewalks and trails. There's just a whole lot of stuff going on that is behind the scenes right now, but real soon you'll be seeing it right here.
Okay, we're excited. We're looking forward to it. And thank you for you and your group. I know y'all do a tremendous amount of work, and we just get to see the finished product.
Yeah,
but
well, thank you.
appreciate that. Item 6, informational items. Item 6A, excuse me. Receipt of informal bids and contract award to Globe Construction Company for the downtown or the maps for downtown arena Phase 2C player corridor.
So this is an item that was mandated by the NBA for the player corridor. The doors have to be 9 feet tall
Makes sense.
because the players are a little taller than average. So in order to get this done, by the time the season started, we had to advance it. So I'm just showing you how that worked out. We talked about it with subcommittee, and I believe we briefly talked about it here. So that's going. And then likewise, the final plans and specs for the arena, the upgrades, we sent those out. Those are the ones that went out before, and bids weren't so favorable. So I'll have a report back to you.
Okay. Any questions about those two items? All righty. Moving on to item 7, comments by board, staff, and citizens. Do we have any citizens who've signed up to speak today? Great. Board, any comments? No? Okay. Staff, any comments by
No,
staff?
ma'am.
Okay. All right. I do have one comment. The ladies got it done today. Just saying. The ladies and David. And so that brings us to item 8, adjournment. We are adjourned.
Great job, ladies.